I'm going to change my Hurricanes, though.
Now, the question is, do I leave that in the recording or do I start again? Hello and welcome to the Super Rugby Round 18 predictions brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, and the guy you heard in the background there, but is not on picture yet. Here he comes. It's Steve from the Cornflakes Crib. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having us on again. This final time this season, almost, for regular season, isn't it? So exciting stuff.
Regular season, yes, absolutely regular season, but not final. We've got finals. We've got at least another 3 weekends after this to go. The excitement, the joviality, the jumping around, the watching games in the middle of the night. But thankfully, you know what? This weekend could be the last weekend of watching games in the middle of the night. As long as the Jaguares keep on winning, they will be hosting. So they will have no games in South Africa, which means that at least it'll be a early morning start for those games rather than the middle of the night. So yes, we could be in for our last 2 middle of the night games of the regular season. Yay!
I have to work on Sunday anyway, so I'm screwed no matter what you do.
Well, at least you can you surreptitiously put one earbud in and listen to the radio sports coverage as you're at work. And when you start jumping around and clapping, go yay! Everyone will look at you and go, what? What's he doing? Oh, dearie me. So
I don't need an earbud for that reaction. No.
So anyway, we kick off on Friday night with the Highlanders versus the Waratahs. Quickly looking at the Highlanders team, Josh McKay, Naholo, Thompson, Walden, Lee, Ione, Smith, Whitelock, Lenchies, Squire, Franklin, Hemapo, Lomax, Coltman, and Johnson are the players there. So big news really is that Ben Smith is not in the side. His hamstring has pulled up, so he's going to miss out on this last ever home game for the Highlanders. And he's not going to go, not be able to say goodbye to the boys down in Invercargill. I know it's not his hometown, Dunedin is, but even so, it's a shame that he can't sort of see off things on the pitch.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that needs to remain to be said is that hopefully they win and get the job done so that he could come back next week instead in the playoffs. That's the ultimate goal. But yeah, I mean,
it's an away playoff next weekend.
It's a away play. Well, that's true, but he'll still play for the Highlanders. That's what I mean.
I
see. The team again. We want to see him on the field before it is international time. We want to see him one more time in Highlanders colours, whether it be here or wherever it may be. Who really knows at this stage? That part of the competition is still pretty much in the air where they're going to end up. But still, yeah, Ben Smith, one of the greatest All Blacks ever. You can't really argue it. And for the Highlanders, for Otago, one of their greatest legendary players. He's up there with the Jeff Wilsons and those kind of players. So, yeah, really up there for him. And, yeah, it'd be good to see him back again. But down here in the good old deepest of Souths, it's going to be interesting to see how, normally they say this is the game where the Highlanders, this is when they're back to their home, I guess you'd call it, in the cold and the bad weather. But, I mean, they play under a roof now, so it's hardly even a factor. If anything, you'd say the Waratahs, they're going to be just as adapted because they're both coming to this different sort of climate and where it's going to probably be, I mean, that time of night it's really going to be getting rather cold, rather dewy. It's going to be icy. It's going to be not nice. And they're going to be wrapped up in blankets on the sidelines. We don't have any nice little covers for the players down here. You literally get, let me think, if you're in New Zealand, a warehouse deck chair, or if you're in Australia, like a Bunnings deck chair, or you get something really cheap and nasty to sit on. So it's not nice. It's not a nice place to play for the players, but hey, it should be a good game nevertheless. And Ben Smith, yep, well done, son. Hopefully we see you some more times in the Highlanders jumper.
Well, there should be 2 thrones, right? There should be a throne for Ben Smith there. It should be done. It should be made special. And also hat tip and a throne for Liam Coltman. Congratulations, sir, on your 100th game for the club, or for the Highlanders, or for the franchise, whatever you want to call it. The Highlanders call themselves a club. So his 100th cap. So congratulations to Liam Coltman on that one, turning out at number 2. And you got to say, looking at the injury list for all the players not missing, there's only 4 players missing for injury for the Highlanders. They've arrived at the right end of the season, at the point at the end of the season, with a fully fit squad, which is pretty impressive, really.
Well, yeah, it's all well and good to have a fit squad, isn't it? But I mean, there's still work for them to be done. For the Highlanders, of course, they need a bonus point win, which is number one priority, and they need the Chiefs to win without a bonus point. And that's going to get them their best possible finish, which will be in 7th. So either way you look at it for the Highlanders, they could do the best they could do, but they still need other results to go their way to make it into that top 8. So it's not really in their hands, which is the biggest thing that's really going to go against them heading into these playoffs for them.
Yeah, it is. They've got a 6-2 bench with Elliot Dixon in the 23 jersey. Interesting enough, the Waratahs have done the exact same thing. They've gone for a 6-2 bench as well. But looking at their 6-2 bench, Jake Gordon and Tassie as the backs replacements, that's a scrum half and a winger. If they lose if they lose Mac Mason at number 10, there is some real trouble on Friday night.
Yeah, well, hopefully that happens because it'll be nice.
Oh no! We never wish injury on players. No. Come on.
But I mean, the Waratahs we're talking about. They're chancing their arm a bit, aren't they? And well, you've talked a little about the team already, but of course, with all the players they've got out because they've left all their rotation so late, they've got not their best team out there, and yeah, they could be in a bit of strife. But I don't know what they're expecting.
Sorry, not their best team. You're trying to sugarcoat this one, aren't you? Let's just list those players missing: Michael Hooper, Kurtley Beale, Sekope Kepu, Bernard Foley, and Rob Simmons. Pretty much all the players that are any good that haven't been fired for being bigots.
But you compare though to what they're losing. Yeah, I mean Hooper, I guess you could say is a great player, international quality player. But Will Miller's been around Super Rugby for a while. Definitely a capable player. Alex Newsom's played a lot for the Waratahs as well. Faketi's been in there, that midfield. So yes, they're losing quality players, but not like they're throwing in guys playing their second cap of Super Rugby. So
the step down is pretty considerable, really. Let's be honest. When you take that amount of experience and leadership out the team, you've taken the heart out of the team. Basically, they're missing their 5 best players. If the Highlanders can't put up a good win over this side, then in all honesty, the Highlanders don't deserve to be in the finals.
Well, yeah, I mean, the biggest loss for me in that Waratahs team is Foley. I mean, I can deal with the others. If I was a Waratahs fan, I could say, okay, I can deal with the others, but Foley is a big loss to me. Mac Mason, it's a big untested guy. And I mean, the Tars, they need exactly the same result as the Highlanders do, really. They need to win it with a bonus point, and the Chiefs to win without the bonus point too, and they could slip into 8th position. Yes, it is still possible. The Waratahs are not out of the woods just yet. So, I mean, they got something to play for still.
They have, but so yes, Newsom, Clark, Ashley Cooper, Faketi, Rona, Mason, Phipps, Sinclair, Miller, Wells, Staniforth, Hannigan, Robertson, Fitzpatrick, and Johnson Holmes. Yeah, it's not a very scary lineup, to be honest. Clearly, there is experience in there. We've got 2 dads in that 13 jersey. You've got Phipps in there as well. So yeah, Curtis Rona's playing some decent rugby at the moment. So I mean, there are some good players in there, but it's a lightweight pack on the whole. They've also gone for a 6-2 bench, but their 6-2 bench, I mean, the Highlanders at least have got Marty Banks on there, so he can come on and play in the centres poorly, but he can play in the centres or at 10, whereas the Waratahs have got literally all their eggs in that Mac Mason basket. Now, hey, very promising player, under 20s, Australia player, etc. But as you say, only played a couple of games at this kind of level. Really is raw. So I've gone with the Highlanders by, I think it's 8 or 10, something like that. Highlanders by 10. What's your prediction for this one?
Yeah, I've gone with what you first said, which was Highlanders by 8 points. But I mean, you look at the other fact that the Highlanders could pull a Sunwolves if things get really tricky. I mean, the Shannon Frizzell out in midfield. How about that?
Whoa! Oh, now that I would actually love to see Shannon Frizzell in the 12 jersey. Oh yes, Lau Mappy on step. No, not on. Well, sorry, kind of. You know what I mean. I'm not suggesting his performance enhancing it or anything like that. But yes, Lau Mappy sort of Godzilla kind of piece. So from there we head over the ditch to the Rebels versus the Chiefs. This is the other one that does matter. It's nicely paired up back to back. because, as you said, if the Chiefs get a bonus point out of this, then the previous game is a total waste of time, in all honesty. But if they don't, then it all becomes that game matters. So looking at the Rebels lineup, Hallett Petty, Hodge, English, Meeks, Corabetti, Cooper, Genia, Nazarani, Hardwick, Cottrell, Jones, Phillip, Ainsley, Rangi, and Faulkner. So we have Genia Cooper back again.
Yeah, that's massive for them, isn't it? But I mean, history doesn't side with the Rebels, and it doesn't very often, does it? But they need their best team out there, and they've got to put it out there too. They've taken that bit of a risk of a rotation in that last week's game, and they need to hit back. And it's simple for the Rebels. It really is pretty simple for them. They're in 8th, so they've got that step up, I guess, on the other team. So they just need to win, I guess, and win for bonus point, and it's done deal.
Well, I don't think they don't even need a bonus point. They just need to win.
Well, the bonus point will make it completely clear cut, wouldn't it? Oh, I suppose, yeah. But yeah, essentially win, and it's a done deal. But I mean, a loss here, I mean, that just, like you say, throws the cat completely amongst the pigeons. But this is the best that they've got to offer, isn't it? If they can't get the job done with this team, they've got no excuses. And their closeout of the season has been dreadful again.
Oh, they've fallen out. They've fallen off a cliff. They started out really well, topped the Australia Conference, looked to be coasting it, and then have just, as I say, just walked off the edge of a cliff and just been awful. The Chiefs, they're bringing Alamalo, Stevenson, Leonard Brown, Nankiville, Wainui, Debrasini, Weber, Sawakalu, Kane, Boshier, Ardron, Brody Retallick, Tayavo, Harris, and Molly. And as you might have guessed, there's one name in there that I think is important for them. Actually, well, that 2-3-4, Harris, Tayavo, and Retallick all returning to strengthen that pack. That's a good pack, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, the Chiefs do offer quite a good team when they've got actually fit players, don't they? That's their biggest Achilles heel for seasons now. It's a reoccurring theme of this side going through. But yeah, Brody Retallick back, massive, and a good pack all round. I mean, it's high quality pack. Even the back row as well. Look what the old Soakula has been just immense at number 8 for that team as well. So it looks really good. The big matchup, though, or the not matchup, it's a player. Jack Debrasini, of course, against his former club. I mean, what a time to come out, and essentially he could land a bit of a killer blow to their season if given that opportunity as well. So, yep, it's a good team for the Chiefs. I think the best they've offered up in a number of weeks. And the way they've been performing, you got to say they're probably one of the form teams heading into this end of the season and into the playoffs if they can make it.
They are. I mean, they've still got Sullivan, McKenzie, Nanai Sotoro, Horeta, Hames, McFaley, Paul Wart, Jacobson, Allardyce, Brown, Karpik, O'Neill, McNichol, Seo, and Falcon missing. This is not a fully fit squad by any stretch of the imagination. They are yes, who have we got fit? Who can come on the pitch, please? Please come forward and play. So, yes, it's when we look at it, it's the full strength side for who they've got fit, but there's still a couple of players short of what they would like to have, especially on the bench. And that's where where it might tell in this is that it's when you have that kind of length of injuries. If you got your Canes and your Retallicks back, you're kind of like, yep, okay, this is a pretty good run on 15. But then you start looking at replacements and go, no, okay, there's a few there that you're like, not who I'd like to see there if I could, if it was full strength. So I've gone Chiefs by 7. Is that heart overhead?
No, I agree with you. I do agree with you. I guess I'm probably in the same sort of boat as what you just said a bit there, because a Chiefs win offers up so much more in possibilities. I guess coming from when you want the Highlanders to make it into the top 8, the Chiefs have to get that win without a bonus point, and then the possibility of the Highlanders, if they win the previous game, could come into the top 8 as well. For the Chiefs, so they sit 10th at the moment. A bonus point win, that does a job for them, of course. That will get them into the top 8, which obviously is their goal. I mean, they could go as high as 6th, believe it or not. It's a bit of a complex situation. Best case scenario for the Chiefs. Here you go, ready for this? Bonus point win, and they have to win by 46 or more points, and the Lions have to lose.
Sorry, by 46 or more points.
Yes. Hang on, I'm not done yet. The Lions have to lose, not get a bonus point, and the Stormers will have to draw. That possibility will get the Chiefs into 6. So Chiefs fans out there, get the calculators out and get ruling on for the Lions to lose and the Stormers to draw.
And that
I've
could
got
lead,
Chiefs by 4.
You're on 5-4. That could lead to the Chiefs going to the Brumbies for the quarterfinals if that panned out, but it's unlikely.
Imagine it. God.
Dear. We then go into two games then go to a game that only matters insofar as who finishes second and third. Jaguares versus Sunwolves. I mean, without even looking at the lineups, you've got to say initially this has got try bonus point win for the Jaguares all over it, right, Brad?
I mean, this Jaguares team has built such a cluster or a core or a group, a crowd almost of good players who have performed at this level now that they can rotate. And I mean, you look at the other teams like we talked about the Waratahs. They've rested a few key guys. I mean, this Jaguares team can rest a few key guys, and they've got other key guys that can come in and fill that role. They have got such a strong group of players there. They could name 2 teams, and you'd say, well, geez, they're both pretty good. So, yeah, they're all over this. You don't even need to look at the team to know that they're pretty much all over this, and they can rest whoever they like. They are right up there right now. They are creaming it.
So, I will run through the team there for you. Tuculet, Cancelleri, Orlando, Ingleses, Carreras, Miotti, Ezcura, into the pack now. Now, there's a few names here you're not probably going to find a bit, you might not recognise so much as Bruni, Leguizamon, Lozana, Paulos, Petty, Peretto, Montoya, Chaparro. So definitely some players being rested there in the pack, and also players like Buffelli, for example, has also been has dropped out of the match day 23. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. That doesn't concern me a little bit. I know a name some people, Super Rugby people might to know is the tight head prop Perotto. I know he's Argentinian capped, so no problem there whatsoever. But yeah, you put in a new guy, but I mean the back row, you got Leguizamon, Lozana. I mean they'll take that guy under their wings or Bruni, and they'll sort him out, no problems. So no qualms whatsoever. It's good to see Iglesias back. They haven't seen good old Santiago Gonzalez Iglesias for quite some time. And you talk about the bench, what a bench as well. I mean it's just depth, isn't it? It's crazy. You bring it on Thomas Cavalli and Matthias Moroni, guys that could easily start and can tear a game up when they're getting tired. So they're crazy at the moment. It's awesome. It's great, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fantastic. And I love looking at these teams and the depth that they've built. Just goes to show what they've developed in Super Rugby over the last few years.
Yeah, and absolutely. And we're not on the Phil Kearns bandwagon. We're definitely anti him.
Oh God, no.
Saying that they shouldn't be in because they're a national team. No, we love it. The fact that they've put this kind of.
I love the Jaguares. Love them. Yep. Absolutely love them. Bring on more.
So to visit them, we have the Sunwolves, obviously, Mazurewa, Van der Heever, Sumaki, Lafele, Timu, Parker, Booth, Gunter, Matsumashi. Sorry, that's the text. Hazigawa, Rowe, Abbott, O'Donnell, Vela, and Makami there. So there's only one player here. There's obviously a couple of players in here, but the only one that I'm really looking forward to is watching Mazurewa and seeing him get another try. Really. Yeah.
Poor old Sunwolves, aren't they? Going to say Mazurewa he's a legend. He's a great little player. I mean, we talked about the Jaguares and how we loved them and it's exciting and it's great for the game. But I mean, the Sunwolves, when they had that passion back at the start of the season, when they had that purpose, I guess, their values, they were much in the same boat that the Jaguares are in right now. We talked about it a lot of times. They've fallen off the ball big time since the announcement of their demise next year. But, I mean, this is actually building up to be a nice little team. We know, of course, they got a 9-10 combination, which is actually proving to be pretty decent at this level. Booth is actually, I'm pretty sure he was a Hurricanes player before. He's really stood up amazingly from what he was when he was there. Of course, Hayden Parker, we know all about him. But guys like Lafayette, really, last season were amazing. They've unearthed these new talents and these old guys. I feel a bit mean calling Masurera an old guy, but he's been around the block for a while. And we talked about this in the review. He's only 27, so he's not super old, but he's been around. And he's not really shook the world like he has this season. So they're giving these guys new new lease on life, essentially, aren't they? And bringing these guys up. But I guess, like Japanese rugby has often struggled with, it's the pack that probably has really had them to struggle with. And I mean, they're still experimenting. They've got an Irishman in their front row as well. So, hey, what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? We'll never know something or other, don't we?
Luck of the Irish, yeah.
So I've gone, I don't think it's been that lucky. I've gone Jaguares by 15.
Oh, that's exactly the same as I've gone as well.
There we go.
Exactly the same, yep.
So I think that will secure the second place, making the game that we'll talk about in a moment, Brumbies versus Reds, pretty much irrelevant. But before we go there, sorry, go on.
I will spit in one little extra thing about this game that probably surprised me about the Jaguares and Sunwolves. It's actually 1-1 between these two teams. They've only met twice, and it's 1-1. Yeah.
There we go.
Surprising, wasn't it?
The home side has always won. So
quite often that is historically Jaguares, that is their forte. Yes. Until this year.
So that's Saturday morning. I'll be doing live post-match reaction with Herman for that one. Sorry, I'll also be doing live post-match reaction to the Highlanders one. And I'll also be doing post-match reaction to this one, which is the Hurricanes versus the Blues. Bit of an interesting lineup by the Hurricanes. I mean, at the beginning you said I might be changing my prediction on this one because, hey, you know what? This one could be... this one is an interesting lineup. So here we go. Marshall, Lamb, Oanga Jensen, Taloa, Raisi, Garden Bashop, Judd, Evans, Karifi, Princip, Walker Lawrence, Lorini, Leah Pepe, Geldenhuis, Coles, and Armstrong. Ross Gelden? Geez, wow.
Former Highlander.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. And Lions player, I think.
If you look at that back line, there is only one first-choice player in there, which is Ben Lamb. Everyone else in that... it is an entirely changed back line. And the younger Proctor still can't make it into the side.
Well, I mean, if you looked at this any other day, wouldn't you? You'd look at it and say, yep, Hurricanes by 10, something like that. It'll be pretty simple. And before I seen the lineups, that's the boat I was in. But, they've really mixed things up completely, haven't they? They've changed it. I mean, and why not, too? They've got nothing really to lose here, do they? I mean, bit of pride. No one likes losing to the Blues. But, yeah, I mean, it's good to see some guys out here like Rayasi. Good to see him get a start because I think he's definitely a player of the future. Umanga Jensen, another young guy. So definitely something worth it here for the Hurricanes. And, I mean, they're in the position they can do it. So why not? I mean, still...
That's what this comes down to is they've earned the right to do this, right? They've got themselves fourth place. They can't get third. They can't get higher than fourth. They can't catch the Crusaders. Fifth place isn't going to catch them. So hence, what they've managed to do, and this is what what Plumtree said, he's managing the workload of a number of players that played lots of minutes in recent weeks. Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly. And up against them come the Blues, who have not won away from home yet this season. A few players missing for the Blues. Mafileo, Perifeta, Trainer, Collins, Twinakafi, still ill. He's been ill for about a month now, and they haven't said what it is yet. Man flu, right. Knock, Moulds, Brown, Tupu, and Fayani as well. Oh, TJ Fayani, wow, I didn't realize he was out. Which means, so let's say quite a few players out there, which means that we welcome back Sonny Bill Williams into the side. So it's Nanai, Clark, Talea, Sonny Bill Williams, Ione, Black, Pulu, Ione, Gibson, Papalihi, Scrafton, Tupelotu, Renata, Parsons, and Hodgman. So not the strongest props in the world, is it? Missing both Carl and actually the other player must. Who am I thinking of? I've gone blank now.
Tuangafasi,
that's it. Yeah, not mentioned. So Tuangafasi is clearly fit, but is being rested for this game, which interesting call.
I mean, it's much of the same situation, isn't it? The Blues have not earned the right to be in contention for the playoffs. So, I mean, why not look to the future, I guess? I mean, guys...
because like you've got to get one away win. Please, one away win.
Why does it matter?
Jersey, one away win, please.
The last time they beat the Hurricanes was 10 matchups ago, back in 2014. 2014. That was the glory days of Super Rugby. No. I mean,
the glory days of not coming last. Oh yes, absolutely. Those are the glory days.
Hey, these Blues could still finish 14th. So I mean, let's not put too much ahead of them that they're going to actually do well here and put something away. I mean, is it good to see Sonny Bill Williams back? I mean, most people have forgotten about him. Does Steve Hansen still know Sonny Bill Williams is around? I mean, geez,
he's about
almost
the only
moved on.
that does, but yes. The only person who does, yeah. And let's be honest, it's. I'd love the Blues to get at least one away win this season. They've not had one for a while now. I can't remember whether they got one last year or not. They didn't get one, haven't got one this year. But at the end of the day, I'm a Blues fan and I just can't see them doing it. Hurricanes by 7 for me.
Oh, you're still going for the Canes.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's remarkable. That is remarkable. You know what? I'm not. Not. I've backtracked on myself, and I was thinking about double backtracking. But no. We're gonna remain the same. I'm going Blues by 2. Close
Blues
one.
by 2.
There you go, Blues fans. I've ripped you up all season long, and I'm giving you this one chance of redemption to do something good for my pick. So there you go. It couldn't get much worse. So there you go, Blues fans. Do it for me.
So that's the only game going into this weekend that absolutely means nothing as far as positions on tables go, really. Brumbies versus Reds probably won't mean anything, as we're expecting the Jaguares to have already beaten the Sunwolves. And they don't even need a bonus point to stay ahead of the Brumbies. So this game probably won't mean anything. But the Brumbies so far, I've not seen a lineup from them. But they are debuting a first ever Pacifica jersey, which is interesting. So not a... And they've had a I forgot what the Wallabies call their jersey.
Indigenous.
That's it, Indigenous jersey. Thank you. So it's not an Indigenous jersey. This one is looking at the Maori, Fiji, Samoan, Cook Island, Tongan roots. Apparently, over half of their players, half of the Brumbies players this season, have got Pacific Island heritage.
Oh well, there you go. And why not too? Why not? Good on them. The Brumbies, I think the Brumbies have really built up a good season this year. And you've got to give them a lot of credit as to how they've gone about their work. They've been called boring. They've been called all sorts of names. But they've done very, very well to build themselves to this position to pretty much be safe and done heading into the playoffs. But, I will add a but, if you cast your memories back to round 6, do you remember what happened then when the Reds hosted the Brumbies in Brisbane? It was 36-14. The Reds actually took them to pieces on that occasion. So, I mean, you look at the situation now and you look at the previous results over the last, 2, 3, 4 rounds as you do. Yeah, it's easy to say, form-wise, Brumbies all over this. Potentially should smash the Reds. But, I mean, it's a derby match, isn't it? And Australia always does lift up the Maroons, as Brad Thorne likes to call them. Last time they met, the Reds will be remembering that very well in their memory, and they'll want to call that back. But a counter to that is that the last 6 meetings between the two sides, the home team has always won.
Yep. So we have got a couple of players who are back from their rest from their Wallabies rest periods. So that's for the Reds. For the Brumbies, we don't have it. We've not got a lineup yet. But Hegarty, Campbell, Falui, Satua, Karevi, Dugunu, McGann, Malua, Scott Young, Wright, Salaki, Lotto, Hawkins, Rhoda, Tupu, Maffey, Smith, JP, that is, Ruan Smith is on the bench. Higginbottom also on the bench too. So some power to come off the bench. Nothing here to play for except for pride. So yeah.
No, not much on the line, is there? I mean, for the Reds, I mean, if they do perform well and they get a bonus point win and half the other competition goes their way as well, they could get up to 9th. It's just pretty blooming good, isn't it? We leave it all to the last round. It's that close. I guess, what does that tell you? That the closest of the competition this season. It's brilliant when you've got guys that can go 14th to 9th in the last round.
Well, if you think, the Reds have got 6 wins in this competition. It's in 7th and 8th of the Storm and the Rebels. Actually, the Bulls in 5th have got 7 wins. There is one win difference between 5th and 14th in the table. That is super crazy. Actually, yeah, that is the latest table. So yeah, it's just one win between them and up there. The Reds' problem this year is they've only got 4 bonus points, which just isn't enough when you think that the Sharks have got like 7 bonus points, and they're not even in the playoffs yet. So they really that's been their big Achilles heel this season.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you're saying. That really does mislead the table. You're saying the Reds are in 14th on 6 wins, but there's 3 teams above them that are only on 5 wins, and it's bonus points. It's purely down to bonus points, in the Highlanders' case, draws, that put them in that position. So it's a key part of the game. I mean, 4 bonus points is a win, isn't it, essentially, and that can really change a season. So, yeah, poor old Reds, but I mean, would you put them anywhere else? I mean, they probably deserve to be there.
Oh, they do. I've gone Brumbies by 7.
Yes, I've also gone Brumbies, but by 12.
There we go. Then we head into where it really gets fun, to be honest, and that's the overnight games. Now, I am thinking about if I can find some way of getting a second screen, is watching these 2 games on a computer and then also live streaming during the games to keep you up to date with how the playoff picture is going. But I've still got to find a second screen from somewhere. So if anyone would like to wire me a few $100 to buy a cheap laptop, that would be much appreciated. Otherwise, yes, I'm begging and scrimping. Stormers versus the Sharks, no team news yet. We very rarely do at this stage of the weekend. It only happens overnight tonight. The only comment I've got really about this game is that the Sharks are still advertising season tickets on their homepage, and yet we're into the last game of the season. Seriously, I know there's Curry Cup coming up, but really advertising the digital or the digital media for the South African teams is pretty poor, and the Lions website is horrible. And yeah, seeing the Sharks still advertising their season tickets at this stage of the season just shows you that they're not switched on at all, are they?
Well, I mean, yeah, their website may not be switched on, but sometimes on the field they're not switched on too well either. So I guess they go hand in hand a little bit between those two, don't they? I mean, there's a bit that could go on here in these ones, isn't there? Sevens versus ninth. There's a lot.
From the playoff picture, this just gets way complicated with these ones. Draws would really throw everyone into the picture. And these are the exciting games, but there's just nothing. We just can't actually talk about the players in these ones yet. The only thing I would say is the Sharks have to play Bosch at 10. If they don't, they're going to lose. And I just don't trust Dupree to do the right thing. So I'm backing Stormers by 7.
I think you can look at it and say neither side is going to take any risks, are they, with resting anyone or anything silly like that. There's no chance that's going to happen. It's going to be the best of the best that they have. I mean, yeah, it's simple for the Stormers, don't they? They need to draw, I guess, and that's the minimum they need to do to actually make it into the playoffs. So, yeah, if they lose, that's when she gets really interesting. The Sharks got a bit to play for, though.
The Sharks got a lot to play for. I mean, if they win this...
they could really mix it all up, but they still need a lot to go on their way. A win puts them in, but, I mean, where they end up, is all a big mess. So you kind of need what you're going to do, don't you? A try will be scored and be like, so the Sharks moved up to 8th and the Rebels have moved down. It could be a real mess. But round 3, of course, the Stormers beat the Sharks 16 points to 11. So add that to your equation for the weekend. And of course, the loser will be the wooden spooner for South Africa too. So, no one wants to do that. And 5-5 between the last 10 matches between these sides as well. So it is really 50-50 between these sides. It couldn't really get any tighter. 3 home wins, 2 away wins in the last 5. So, yeah, I mean, the stats don't help you on this occasion. So it's a
coin flip. So which way are you going then?
5 points to the Stormers.
5 points to the Stormers. We both think home advantage is going to do it, but who knows? Then we head to the Bulls Lions. Now, the Bulls are the best out of all the South African teams as far as naming their sides go, because they get it out much before anyone else. So well done to them, like their media people. Well done, guys. And also, they have some really fun players. So Gallant, Hendricks, Coetzee, Odendaal, Speckman, who plays 7s on a 15s pitch, Pollard, Warner, Vermeulen, Lindenberg, Van Staden, Stuyman, Kristen, Nyankane, Vizavi, and Kaboko. Now, Yeah, Speckman will be fun. Having Dwayne Vermeulen back is important. They've got Pollard in there. They're pretty much up to full strength, aren't they? I mean, they've got a couple of players missing, like Shark Brits and Jason Jenkins, I think. But apart from that, it's looking like a decent side they're putting out.
I'm calling this a 1/8 final. That's what I'm calling it. 5th versus 6th. I mean, what you got a quarter final, so just spreading it out a bit. A 1/8 final.
The last 16.
That just doesn't sound quite near as fun as a 1/8 final now, does it? I mean, the Bulls are safe, aren't they? They're in the top 8, no questions about it, regardless of what happens. But the question will be whether it's 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. So there's a lot that could change for them throughout the weekend. But, I mean, they're still going all out, aren't they? They're still going all out. They're putting out the big guns, the best team they can. And I really enjoy your pronunciation of that Bulls team. It was just top-notch.
I'm sorry. It's just... Anyway. So basically we've got a good... I expect the Lions to also roll out their first choice team as well, because they don't know, before naming the side, what they're going to need out of this game. They will know going into the game what they need. I mean, both these teams could have finals footy already locked in. And the other big thing about this is that it doesn't matter where they finish in those between 5th and 8th. They are going to have to travel overseas. So it's going to be a long haul trip anyway. So there's none of this kind of playing around of, if we lose this or if we draw this, we can get an away semi-final, away quarter-final, but in South Africa. Nah, all of these games are going to be played overseas. So in all honesty, it's much for a muchness really as to who they travel to.
I don't think the Lions can afford to do anything but play their best team. They just can't afford to. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if the Bulls did that. They did Hurricanes the situation because, like you say, I mean, you probably want to go play the Brumbies or something, wouldn't you, as opposed to playing the Crusaders in Christchurch. But alas, I mean, they'll take what they can get. But the Lions, they could still get in with a bonus point loss. So they could scrape their way, but it depends on a lot of other things happening throughout the weekend to lead to this point. They could potentially even leapfrog the Bulls. So it's still has a bit riding on it in that perspective for the South African teams. But either way, like you say, they're on the plane. And if they don't get it their own way, if they do get pumped by the Bulls, they could completely drop out down to 9th spot. So, yeah, it's a lot happened in the last weekend.
So what would be funny is if these two teams are in 5th and 6th going into the game, and that's how they'll finish, depending which way round, with both teams trying to lose it to go to the Brumbies rather than having to travel, winning it to go to the Hurricanes. So yes, that would be amusing, but it won't happen. That's there we go. I've gone Bulls at home. The other big thing about this game, obviously, is this is the closest you've got to a local derby in Super Rugby. They're only about a half an hour drive from each other. They're only like 50 odd, 70 odd Ks between the two of them. So maybe a bit more than half an hour. But hey, basically, you can get an away supporter for this one. It's the two closest sides geographically in Super Rugby. There is history between these two provinces from way before Super Rugby. So yes, I think it's Transvaal versus Northern Transvaal. This is one you should actually have on the calendar if you kind of like had a Learjet and could fly around, go to games. This is one of the ones you want to be in the ground for because the atmosphere will be cracking. It will be a massive game, so a great way to finish the round robin with.
I do agree with you with your prediction. I'm going to Bulls as well. I'm going by 8. And, I mean, that backs up from round 3, isn't it, when they met? It was 30 points to 12, so maybe we should have gone by 18 instead. But, however, there we go. I mean, the Bulls don't have much history in this in terms of wins recently. Before this year, it was 2015 before they beat the Lions last time. But as we know, that was prime Lions, wasn't it? That was the cream of the crop for the Lions. And it's not quite as good as she was back then, sadly.
No, I'm going Bulls by 5 in the end. But the other thing is that the Bulls are coming back from their tour to Australasia, where they got 1 win, 2 draws and a loss. So there will be travel fatigue, but they'll be coming back in a very good mood, having had a wonderful tour for them. I mean, the Bulls normally away form outside South Africa is abysmal historically. I think they had one of the longest losing streaks ever out of any team. So to have come away with a win and 2 draws and just that 1 loss is a fantastic result and shows they're in form.
Yep, they're going to be hard to beat. And you just got to question, though, looking forward, travel, going back on a plane again after they've just got back. That's got to hurt for them. But, I mean, yeah, they're in good touch. And if any of the South African teams from actually South Africa are going to put up a fight, you'd probably put your money on the Bulls would be the ones to give it that big punch.
So that's it. That's all she wrote as far as previewing the round 18 of Super Rugby. Thank you very much, Stephen, for joining me. And where can people get all your wonderful videos and rugby content and stuff?
And stuff. You can find all the stuff just searching for Cornflake or Cornflake's Crib, as it'll be known as. And you can find me on Twitter as well, which is at Cornflake's Crib too. So come and say hi and let's abuse some referees over the weekend together. It's good fun, trust me.
He loves Angus Gardner. Anyway, don't forget, subscribe up there. Down there, it's how you can support the channel on Patreon, and where I've got exclusive videos for you. And over there are 2 videos that the artificial intelligence here at YouTube says you're going to enjoy. So go give them a watch.